It began with darkness. Across the entire planet, everything stopped. The power in every city, the signal in every device, the voice in every radio, all went silent for exactly 3.7 seconds. Airplanes lost their systems. Hospitals went dark. Satellites fell from orbit. Even nuclear stations froze for a moment. No one knew why. No one knew how. Then everything came back online. But something had changed. Every screen on Earth, laptops, phones, billboards, smartwatches, showed one strange message. You were warned. Your fate is already sealed. At first, people thought it was a hack. Maybe a glitch, but the message was in every language. English, Chinese, Arabic, Russian, even dead languages like Latin. It was no human error. It was a message from space. At the United Global Science Station, UGSS, the top scientists and military minds gathered to understand the event. Their computers found a strange radio signal, deep in space, from far beyond Pluto. It wasn't random. It had patterns, structure, and meaning. Dr. Elena Voss, a space linguist, stared at the signal and whispered, This is not the first warning. It's the last. She explained. 20 years ago, a similar signal was detected, but it was weak, broken. It was ignored as space noise. Now, the new signal was strong and clear, a reply to something Earth had done. General Kane, the UGSS head of defense, asked, Are we under attack? Elena shook her head slowly. No, we're under judgment. Soon, more strange things began to happen. Birds in Africa started flying in perfect circles. Whales in the Pacific changed their paths, swimming toward Antarctica. A baby in Brazil looked at the sky and said in a deep voice, It sees you. All over Earth, strange dreams began to spread. People saw a giant eye in the sky, staring at the planet, watching, waiting. In Siberia, a weather station captured an image of a dark object, far beyond the moon. It looked like a ship, but shaped like a giant hand. No engines, no sound, just floating, watching Earth. The world governments tried to hide the truth, but the signal could not be stopped. Amateur radio users, satellite workers, and hackers all found it. The message was now public. Your world is marked. You were warned. You broke the code. Now face the end. Back at UGSS, a team of scientists finally decoded a second layer of the signal. It showed a rotating 3D image of Earth. On the image, a countdown timer appeared. 90 days. Dr. Elena's face turned pale. This is a clock. A countdown to something. I think. Extinction. General Kane clenched his fist. We need answers. Now. In the final scene, the camera zooms across the galaxy, far beyond known space. It stops at a dark, dying star. Orbiting the star is a massive ancient station, quiet, broken, covered in dust. Inside the station, a giant eye opens. A machine awakens. A voice speaks in a dead alien tongue. It translates. Earth has ignored the warning. Their fate is sealed. Let the judgment begin. The cold winds of Antarctica howled across the frozen land. Deep under the ice, in a secret research base called Station Helix 9, something ancient had just woken up. Dr. Yara Lin, a geologist working at the station, stood frozen with fear. Her computer had just picked up strange vibrations, pulses, coming from under the glacier. The pattern matched the alien signal received by UGSS. She whispered, It's the same signal, but it's coming from beneath us. The team started drilling. Ice layers that hadn't seen sunlight in millions of years were cut open. As they went deeper, the machines began to fail. Lights flickered. Radios screamed with static. A sound echoed through the tunnels, like a deep, slow heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. It wasn't natural. After 2 days, they reached a massive metallic wall. It stretched for hundreds of meters, buried deep under the ice. It was not made by humans. Dr. Yara ran her fingers across strange alien symbols glowing faintly on the wall. They were the same symbols seen in the space signal. Suddenly, her assistant, Leo, screamed. He had found a door, but it wasn't a door. It was alive. As they touched it, it opened on its own. Inside was a huge chamber with glowing blue light. At the center stood a black crystal tower, floating silently in midair. Machines and structures surrounded it, dusty, old, but still humming. Above ground, the world was in chaos. The countdown had reached 87 days. News channels spoke of war, disaster, and fear. People built bunkers. Others gave up. But the UGS sent a secret team to Antarctica after receiving Dr. Yara's discovery. General Kane arrived with soldiers and scientists. Dr. Yara showed him the floating crystal and said, "This is not just a structure. It's a beacon. It's sending a signal into space." Kane stared at the strange alien technology. "Calling what?" Yara answered quietly. "Something that once ruled this part of the galaxy." That night, Leo disappeared. They found him standing in front of the crystal, eyes wide open, whispering the alien words over and over. "It sees, it remembers. We broke the code." His voice was not his own. Suddenly, the crystal tower flashed with red light. A loud humming shook the entire base. The machines activated. The walls glowed. The message repeated in the same cold voice. "Beacon activated. Judgment protocol confirmed. 86 days remaining." They realized the truth. The alien structure had been sleeping for thousands of years. And now, Earth's actions had reactivated it. Dr. Yara checked the walls and decoded more of the writing. What she found shocked her. Earth had once been part of a galactic agreement. A peace code. A rule of life. Long ago, humanity was warned not to expand beyond its borders, not to disturb ancient sites in space. But Earth did not listen. Years ago, human probes had entered restricted space near a dead star, waking something that should have stayed buried. That action triggered the countdown. Earth had broken the code. Suddenly, one of the alien machines activated a hologram. It showed a map of space. On it, a giant object was moving, fast, toward the solar system. Kane asked, "What is that?" The hologram translated, "The enforcer, the one who judges. Arrival, 41 days. In the final scene, we zoom out to space. The object in the map is real. A colossal black ship, larger than Earth's moon, moves silently through the stars. Its surface is covered in weapons, spires, and something that looks like living metal. Inside the ship, strange figures float in tanks. Their eyes glow. They are not alive, but not dead either. One voice speaks. Target, Earth. Status, judgment confirmed. Protocol, cleanse." The world had changed. After the Antarctica discovery, the alien signal grew stronger. The countdown on screens across the globe ticked down each hour. Now, only 86 days remained. People were afraid. Governments were quiet. But the truth had already escaped. Dr. Elena Voss stood at the UGS command center, watching thousands of messages pour in from around the world. The signal was now everywhere, on phones, TVs, satellites, even radios that had been turned off for years. "Your world is marked. The enforcer is coming." Countdown continues. Meanwhile, scientists confirmed what the Antarctica beacon had shown. A massive object was moving toward Earth. Not a meteor, not a comet. Something controlled, something alive. They called it the enforcer. Up in Earth's orbit, a probe was launched to observe the object. It was equipped with top military and science tech. The world watched its journey live. The probe sent back one clear image before disappearing. It showed the enforcer, a giant black ship, sharp like a blade, and glowing with red lights. On its side, alien symbols burned like fire. Judgment protocol, cleanse. Then the signal went silent. The probe was gone. In small towns and big cities, strange things began to happen. Children started drawing the same image, a giant eye in the sky, surrounded by fire. Animals became quiet. Birds no longer sang. Dogs stared at the sky and barked all night. People began hearing whispers in their sleep. Some wrote strange words in unknown languages. In India, a young girl spoke during a news broadcast. Her voice changed mid-sentence and said, "Your time was given. You chose pride over peace. Now it cannot be undone." General Kane held an emergency meeting at UGSS. "We need a defense," he said. "If that ship comes here, we fight." But Dr. Elena shook her head. "This isn't a war. It's a judgment. We triggered something far older than us. We need to understand why." She then showed something new. Inside the alien signal was a hidden message, only recently decrypted. It was a timeline. Thousands of years ago, a network of planets, called the Oath Worlds, created a set of laws to keep peace in the galaxy. Earth had once been on that list, before humans even knew how to build fire. Something ancient on Earth, maybe a previous life form, had agreed to the oath. But now, humans had broken it. "Broke it how?" asked Kane. Dr. Elena showed images from deep space probes taken 5 years ago. They had explored a dead zone near a collapsed star, an area marked as forbidden in alien maps. Earth's probes didn't just go near it. They touched something. A switch was flipped. The system woke up. Now, Earth was paying the price. Around the world, fear grew worse. Some believed aliens were punishing Earth for greed and war. Others thought it was a test, or fake news. But then, something terrible happened. Day 82. After the strange blackout of the South American city, panic spread faster than ever. People were running. Governments were hiding. And the countdown continued. Now only 82 days remained. The news was full of fear. People spoke of alien judgment, world-ending weapons, and ancient revenge. But what no one expected was a knock. In the quiet mountains of Mongolia, a farmer named Saren saw something fall from the sky. It wasn't fire. It wasn't metal. It was a ship, but not like the Enforcer. This ship was broken, scratched, smoking, and glowing with blue energy. It had crashed, but softly, like it had been trying not to cause harm. Saren rushed toward it, heart pounding. A door hissed open, and from the light stepped out something not human, but not terrifying either. It looked tired. Its eyes were sad. The alien fell to the ground and whispered in perfect English, "We are not here to destroy. We are here to help." Before it's too late, news of the crash was quickly hidden, but the UGSA already knew. They sent a team to bring the survivor back to their high-security base. Dr. Elena and General Kane watched as the alien was placed in a sealed chamber. Its skin was pale gray, its fingers long, its body thin and weak. It called itself Rael. Rael spoke with kindness but sadness. It had come from a distant star system, one already destroyed by the Enforcer. His people were part of the ancient alliance, the Oath Worlds. Rael explained everything. Long ago, Earth was protected. It was one of the seed planets, watched, guarded, chosen. But something happened. Your kind grew too fast. You reached for things too old, too powerful. Rael showed a memory, an image of the dead zone where Earth's probe had gone. It was a burial ground for an ancient species. Untouchable. Forbidden. The moment that probe landed, a warning system triggered. One last law of the galaxy had been broken. The Enforcer was created to stop civilizations that refuse to listen. It cannot be reasoned with. It only follows its code. General Kane asked sharply, "Then why are you here?" Rael looked down. "Because I once stood by and watched another world fall. I cannot do it again." He had escaped with only a few others. Their ship had been hunted. He was the only one who made it to Earth. He had come to give a message. There is a small chance, only one. The enforcer respects the code of return. If Earth can show it still honors the oath, it may. Pause. Dr. Elena leaned forward. How? How do we do that? Rael answered slowly. The beacons must be reactivated. 3 still exist on Earth, hidden, sleeping, buried for ages. If all 3 are awakened, a signal of peace will be sent. The enforcer may listen, or at least delay. But time was short. The beacons were old, unknown even to humans. The first was in Antarctica, already awakened. The second, lost beneath the Sahara Desert. The third, somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, deep and unreachable. Kane growled, "We don't have time to search the world." Rael placed his hand on the table. A map appeared, glowing, ancient, alive. It pointed to 3 locations. One had already turned red, Antarctica. The second blinked yellow. The third faded. Rael's voice grew weaker. The signal must be completed before day 10, or the enforcer will not stop, and this world will fall. Outside the base, lightning split the sky. Somewhere far above Earth, the enforcer continued to move, silent, cold, unstoppable. Its systems scanned Earth's surface. Its weapons slowly powered up. Its eyes turned toward the Sahara. Back in the UGSS base, Kane gave the order. Prepare 2 teams. 1 to the Sahara, 1 to the Pacific. Dr. Elena nodded. Let's give Earth one last chance. Day 78. The world held its breath. 2 ancient alien beacons had been activated. The countdown still ticked down, loud and final. The enforcer was now close enough to be seen by deep space telescopes. It no longer hid, and Earth had only 1 beacon left to awaken. At the UGS base, Rael lay in a medical chamber. His alien body was failing, but his mind was clear. The final beacon is not inland. It sleeps beneath the Pacific Ocean, protected by something ancient, something angry. Dr. Elena and General Kane listened carefully. Time was running out, but they had no exact location. Rael handed Elena a final data crystal. This will lead you, but be warned. The 3rd beacon is not a test. It is a choice. A deep-sea ship, the Vigilant, was launched within 24 hours. It carried Elena, a deep-dive crew, and a few hand-picked soldiers. They followed the signal to the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on Earth. Down below, no light reached. No sound escaped. Only silence and pressure. As they descended into darkness, the crew grew quiet. One crew member, a diver named Mason, whispered, "I feel like something is watching us." 3 hours later, they reached the ocean floor. The ship's scanners picked up a massive structure hidden beneath rock and coral. It looked like a giant circle, like a gate, half buried in mud. Symbols pulsed dimly across its surface. The 3rd beacon. But as they approached, something moved. A strange figure swam by their window, too fast to see clearly. Then another, and another. "We are not alone down here," said Elena, voice tight. The sonar showed large shapes circling them, more than 10. "What are they?" Kane asked. Rael's voice crackled through the speaker from the surface. "They are the Watchers, defenders of the last gate. They were built to stop the unworthy. You must not fight them. You must pass the final test." The crew suited up. Elena, Mason, and 2 others swam out, guided by lights on their suits. As they reached the gate, one of the Watchers swam straight at them, then stopped. It stared with glowing white eyes. Suddenly, Elena heard a voice, not through her ears, but in her mind. "You come to beg for mercy, but your world has failed. The gate opens only for truth. Speak your choice." The ocean rumbled. The gate lit up. A hologram appeared in the water, showing Earth's history: war, greed, pollution, weapons, lies. Then a second image, of love, kindness, rescue, healing. The enforcer sees both. Now, you must choose. One must fall, for the other to live. Elena didn't understand. What do you mean, one must fall? The voice returned, louder now. A trade. The beacon requires a final sacrifice. The code must balance. Either a nation must fall, or the entire world. On the ship, Kane listened in shock. They're asking us to choose who dies. Rail confirmed it. To send the final peace signal, Earth must show it can give up power, not take it. One part of your world must be given up freely, or the enforcer will take it all. Back in the water, Elena floated silently. We don't have the right to choose who lives or dies. The watchers circled. Then your silence will be your answer. The gate will close. The countdown ends in 77 days. Your fate will be sealed. Elena thought fast. She looked around at the deep ocean, at the watchers, at the glowing gate. Then she made a decision. She swam forward and shouted, I offer myself. The gate pulsed. One life is not enough. It must be a nation. A piece of Earth must fall to protect the rest. Elena returned to the ship. She looked at Kane. We need help. We need the world to decide. That night, for the first time, UGS went public with the truth. Live broadcasts were sent across every country. The people of Earth were told the full story of the beacons, of the enforcer, of the final choice. To save Earth, one part must be given up. A city, a region, a nation. Sacrificed to send the last signal, or everything is lost. Panic spread. Some called it madness. Others said it was a lie. But many asked the same question. Who will volunteer? Who will fall to save us all? In a quiet mountain village, an old man stood up and said, Let it be us. And far away, in a small island nation facing rising seas, the people lit candles and prayed. They had made peace. If one must fall, we choose to protect the world. Back under the sea, the gate sensed the choice. It opened slowly, releasing a burst of blue light. The beacon lit up. Final signal confirmed. Countdown paused. Awaiting response. Far above Earth, inside the enforcer ship, red lights turned yellow. Systems paused. Weapons powered down. The machine hesitated. But in its core, something darker awakened. A voice, ancient, cold, whispered inside the ship. They bought time. But time is not peace, and the seal was broken long ago. Day 76. The third beacon had been activated. Earth had made the final sacrifice, not with weapons, but with will. An entire island nation had offered itself to save the world. The signals were sent. The countdown stopped at 76 days. For the first time in 3 months, there was silence. But silence does not always mean peace. Above Earth, the enforcer's ship remained still in orbit. No more drones. No more attacks. People across the planet waited, watched, and prayed. At the UGS base, Elena stood with Rail and General Kane, staring at the sky. Why isn't it leaving? She whispered. Rail's face was pale. His energy was fading. The enforcer received the signal, but it's thinking. It is not just a machine. It is a judge. And it remembers old wounds. Suddenly, alarms screamed across UGSS. A message appeared on every screen. Processing complete. Earth's RESPONSC, 98% VALID. Error. Corrupted TODVTTT. Action. Purge planetary life. Time to MPDCT. 24 hours. The world fell into panic again. It's still coming. Kane shouted. We gave everything. What else does it want? Rail fell to his knees. No, the beacons worked. But something else has infected Earth's judgment. A hidden corruption. An old code buried long ago. The Enforcer sees that, and now it cannot forgive. Alina's heart sank. So it was never about proving we were good. It was about fixing something deeper. Rael nodded weakly. Unless we remove that corruption, Earth will burn. Deep inside the Enforcer's ship, a core memory had awakened. A memory of another world, destroyed long ago by greed and power. A world that had promised peace, and then launched a war. That world was Earth's ancestor, and Earth still carried the echo of that betrayal in its DNA. There was only one hope left. Rael had spoken of a master signal, a final override command that could stop the Enforcer completely. But it could only be sent from inside the Enforcer ship. It was a suicide mission. Alina volunteered first. If I don't go, billions will die. Kane grabbed his rifle. You're not going alone. Rael stood, coughing blood. You need me to reach the core. I was made for this. Within hours, a secret space shuttle was launched. Small, fast, cloaked. Inside, Alina, Kane, Rael, and 2 elite soldiers. They left Earth behind, flying straight toward the giant alien machine that hovered like a god above the world. The Enforcer's ship was the size of a continent. Cold, dark, alive. The shuttle landed inside a service port. They stepped out into a silent tunnel glowing with red veins. The walls moved slowly, breathing. Kane whispered, "It's like walking into a heart." As they moved deeper, machines came alive. Drones, defense bots, lasers. The team fought hard, blasting their way toward the core. One soldier was lost in a trap. Another stayed behind to hold off a wave of drones. In the end, only Alina, Kane, and Rael reached the final chamber. The core room was huge. A sphere of light floated in the center, spinning fast. This was the mind of the Enforcer. But it spoke before they could act. Why do you come here? You had your chance. You were given time. Your world is broken. Alina stepped forward, voice shaking but strong. You're right. We're not perfect. But we chose hope over war. We chose sacrifice over pride. And now, we choose to fight not for power, but for peace. Rael placed a crystal into the override console. One last signal, he whispered. The core began to resist. The chamber shook. Unauthorized command. Purging now. Rael fell to the ground. His energy was gone. You must finish it, he said to Alina. Kane helped her reach the panel. Sparks flew. Alarms blared. The override code needed a final key. A life code. Rael's body lit up one last time. He smiled and said, I was made to end this. Let me save what I once failed to protect. His energy flowed into the machine. Light exploded. The ship shook violently. Then, silence. Back on Earth, the countdown vanished. Skies cleared. The Enforcer ship began to fall apart, turning into harmless dust that scattered like stars. The danger was over. Rael's body never returned. But in the system's final log, one line appeared. Override accepted. Judgment canceled. Earth. Status. Watched, but free. 1 week later, people across Earth began to rebuild. The island nation that sacrificed itself, still standing, untouched. Some called it a miracle. Others said it was a test. The message was clear. Earth had been given one final chance. No more warnings. No more delays. The future was now in human hands. In a quiet hill, Alina visited a grave marked only by one name. Rael. She left a single flower. Thank you, she whispered. We'll try not to waste the gift. Above her, the sky was blue. But far beyond the stars, another Enforcer waited in silence, watching.